Serena here for Life Vocabulary. My new show, People Talk, is up, as is my new YouTube channel, where you'll find all my interviews and podcast shows. This is what I love, dropping insight for my community of creatives and independent thought leaders. First up is Broken Pen, spoken word artist and rapper. Please join the conversation on Instagram and YouTube, and do subscribe to be notified of all my culture content, which can also be found on lifevocabularly.com, SoundCloud and iTunes. Please be sure to comment, DM and connect.
The darkness is calm because from the darkness, like you see the light better. If you're in light and then you see more light, it's blinding.
Okay, so welcome back to the Life Vocabulary podcast. I have Broken Pen with me.
Yo.
This is so cool. Thank you so much for making it happen.
Anytime.
You've got a jam-packed day. And as always, the conversation already began and I stopped you.
Yeah, isn't it?
And I'm like, can we just save it for the podcast?
Yeah.
No, I'm really, really happy that you're here. I found out about you because of your presence at spoken word showcases.
Yeah.
Especially in Croydon, and I thought actually you were from around here. And it turns out, no, you just get around.
Everyone thinks I'm from Croydon, isn't it?
Right. No, you just get around.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, you've been really active. So... Gosh, what was it that we kind of stopped? Okay, I stopped you on how you said that you've only been doing this for 7 months.
Yeah, pretty much 7 months. Coming up to 8 because started in November 2017, like the 30th. I've got the video still.
How is it possible that you're so confident and so, what's the word? Proficient?
Wow, proficient. I like that. Do you know what's mad? That's what my name means. Able and proficient. So, like my name's Abilio.
Oh,
so
right.
It means able and proficient. Yeah.
Able and...
That's mad, yeah.
Spell your name?
A-B. I-L-I-O.
Where is it? Portuguese?
Yeah.
Is that... So what's your background?
Not
that it's important,
I'm half Angolan, not half Portuguese.
Right.
Yeah.
And Broken Pen?
Broken Pen. Yeah, that's... Like, I've got a piece where I explain it. Because it's and I didn't have a name for the piece properly, and then Magiro said something like Woken Pen, and I was like, that's bars, so I'm gonna call it Woken Pen, and that really explains why I kind of called myself Broken Pen. And I've got like a line in it that I was like, what did I say? Wait, I've got to say, do you know when you write, you have like reference points of like, okay, if I remember this, I'll remember the rest of the rap.
Yeah.
So it's like, I spent way too much time sat on the bench trying to reach for the top, but that was a stretch. All my life I've handled this heat, but somehow still managed to bend. See, these words gave me the freedom to speak up, but keep my mind silent. My pen breaks every time that I start writing from the weight of my life. It's exciting, emerging from the darkness just to realize that you've always been enlightened. And then at the end, I was like, I've had a broken mind, a broken heart, and a broken sense of what's important. I never really truly fixed myself until I use my broken pen to right my wrongs for an audience. So it's just kind of like using the negative aspects of life to learn a lesson and learn from my life what I've learned, and just like put it into spoken form so people can take away what they want to take away from it. It's just about relating to people through, you know what I'm saying, like through struggle or whatever, and then just overcoming that. Yeah,
there's so many things that you've just said, like in that, and the pen breaking from the weight of the struggle.
Yeah, exactly.
What have you learned?
I've learned a lot. I've learned patience. I've learned discipline. I've learned like I used to be one of these people. I used to be really frustrated when I thought, like I said, I thought I knew everything in it. Yeah. Because I thought because I take time to research this and
Yes.
So if someone doesn't know anything, not that I'm necessarily better than them, but it's like, why are you ignorant or whatever? Do you know what I mean? So then that would affect my mood a lot. So I've learned to like understand that everyone thinks from a different place, and it's all about variables. Do you know what I mean? Like your life is how it is because of different variables, because of the people you know, the people you talk to, the things you see in a day, the way that you think, and you know what I mean? Everyone's different, and it as easy as it sounds to listen and go, well, yeah, it's not like in the moment. You don't have these things constantly in your brain, innit? So it's like I've learned how to process processes. Do you know what I mean? Processes, yeah. Because like it's like everything's a process, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? But we like to skip processes and like not follow step by step things and get to the end goal quickly. And in doing that, we can like have chaos in it. We can disrupt ourselves in it. Because if like say I'm talking to someone and I don't want to follow the process of letting this say I hear something I already don't like. The process of this conversation means that I need to be quiet for a certain amount of time to take in what they're saying. Yeah, but usually what happens with people is we speak and we hear something we don't like and we're already ready to rebuttal that point.
Yes.
So now we've stopped listening.
Because you're not listening.
Exactly. So we've stopped the process, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So I've learned to like process the processes and like, you know what I mean, give people their fair speak and try my best to understand and empathize with people. I've learned how to deal with pain. I've learned how to deal with my anger, just like how to overcome things. It's just a lot. And I'm still learning. So,
you're still learning.
Yeah, and that's the sick thing, innit? The pen will always be breaking.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I will continuously be learning.
Yes. Oh, it's so interesting because just covering the Cuddy album.
Yeah.
And how he says,
I haven't heard that yet. I want to listen to it.
Well, he just says something like, here we go again. And even though he went through rehab and he came out of everything, he's like, here we go again. And then he's in his bars, he's saying, please save me again,
yeah.
And what I took from that was that it's just a reminder that not kind of in a kind of a doom and gloom way that the struggle never ends, but actually that's just the nature of life.
Listen, the darkness is amazing.
It's amazing.
It's a very like obviously while you're in it, by its nature, it's not going to feel good. It's not supposed to feel good because discomfort is what creates that thing.
Absolutely.
When you're comfortable, like you're comfortable, that may be the end goal you're trying to get to, but like you said, that's the process you have to go through to then bask on whatever. But it's good to be broken down sometimes and be in that place. That's where you reflect the most, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So man, I feel him on that.
Your a lot of your spoken word material reflects this.
Yeah.
It's a really strong theme in everything that you.
Yeah, I always talk about darkness and light and it's a spirituality aspect of all of the stuff in it, because it's like it's elements in it of each thing that work together that make life the way it does in it. Do you know what I mean? It's just a beautiful thing. So I like looking at it sometimes and just reflecting.
How's it been going for you? Like for 7 months you've been doing this and it seems like you've been doing it for so long.
Do you know what? It's been going great. I'm not gonna lie, it's been going. I've been meeting so many sick people. Like I've been performing, been asked to perform at certain places. So it's going really well. Like I'm writing a lot more because obviously before this, I just had like 2 pieces that that I had in a bag, like memorized and whatever. And since this, I've met so many people that have inspired me that I've written. Do you know what I mean? Like the one I sent you that for you to hear. That was inspired by a poet called I Am Shahid.
Right.
Well, his name's Shahid, isn't it? But he goes by I Am Shahid. Yeah. And he did that whole, obviously, alphabet thing. And then I heard it and I was just like, that's crazy. That's mad. But this is the thing though. I've always heard like, you know, Papoose did one.
Yes.
Loki did one. Yes. Like there's artists that have done it in hip hop because obviously I come from rap. So but I've never done it in rap. I've never been compelled in it. And I only like to write when I'm compelled to write in it, because I think that's when the things that are supposed to come out. I hate forcing it. Sometimes I sit down to write and I'm forcing it. I'm like, that's garbage. I can feel like I'm forcing it, so I don't do it. Do you know what I mean?
How does the flow come for you?
Like, what do you mean? How does the flow come?
In terms of writing, like, is there a particular? I know this is crap because it's like, a particular time of day that works for you.
No,
it's like there are moments. How do they all moments come?
Do you know what it is? Yeah.
Because I create in stolen time. For me, it's stolen time.
Oh, okay.
And I've just got to grab it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's whenever really, but how it happens is like I'm not in a space where it's like, I know I'm gonna write. It just starts happening. Yeah. Sometimes I'm in my phone and like I pick up my phone, I start typing, and by the time I know it, I've written 120 bars, and I'm like, don't even know. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how. Sometimes I just like, I know words. I know how to express, and then I think a part of it is channeling another element. Do you know what I mean? That's just how I feel for me. I'm not even trying to be. Do you know what I mean? That's just how
It's
I
just
feel.
so because I love to, because the majority of the Life Vocabulary audience are creatives and they are interested in what it's like for other people.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but as in it's just intriguing and it's insightful as well.
Yeah.
And the majority of the time, yes, some will say from a discipline perspective.
Yeah.
They'll have to dedicate a day or a certain time to it.
Yeah.
But then how it comes out is not like, okay, I'm sitting here and yes, it's just going to come. So for me, it really is like when the moment just comes and and then I have to kind of catch it. So you've come from rap and now you're doing spoken words.
Yeah.
How are you, is there a balance for you? Are you still keeping a foot in rap?
I will never stop rapping. This is the thing. Like, rap to me is rhythm and poetry, innit? It's just confined, innit? That's literally, to me, the only difference is rap is confined to a beat, innit? So I have to keep to a certain tempo and I have to keep to a certain rhythm and pace, innit? Obviously, you can play with that. Eminem showed us that. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, I've studied his work a lot, innit? And you'll see, like, the Eminem babies, innit? Yeah? Like, Joyner Lucas, Hopsin, who else? Yellow Wolf, like we could go on like many of Slaughterhouse, like all of these guys have obviously come after M, and it's like he's done all of the things that you can do with rap, in it. Do you know what I mean? And like, just forget him as a person or whatever. If you don't like him or if you argue and you want to get into race or whatever, I don't care about all that stuff. I just care about the lyricism, yeah. And Eminem has shown that he's done all of the flows, I believe, in it. Do you know what I'm saying? And so it's limited to a certain point. Do you know what I mean? So like he even knew, like, you know, the one he did on BET where it was addressing Trump.
Yes.
Like he did that, yeah, because he knew, he could have just come and he could have just dropped like sick bars and then referenced part of what he wanted to say in a bit, but people aren't going to digest it.
No.
You know what I mean? You need the lack of a beat and you need the freedom to go anywhere with it. And
is
just
that
let
what
it
spoken
flow out.
word is for you?
That's what spoken word is for me. Spoken word is freedom, innit? It's like it allows me to express myself the way I authentically want to express myself without trying to stay within something and create an image of something, innit? Do you know what I mean? Because when I rap on a beat, I'm trying to be good.
Yes.
When I do spoken word, I'm just trying to be real.
It just is.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the difference for me.
And since you started it, like what have the months been like? Have there been any phases that you've kind of?
It's just always.
Has it just been one ride?
It's just continuous, and I love it. I'm not gonna lie. So this is like my day. Yeah, I go to work 5:30 in the morning.
Amazing. Okay, go.
I'll go to work.
I like when people break down their day.
I'll go to work 5:30 in the morning, and then I'll work till 5:30 in the afternoon. So like 12 hours. If I can, I'll get a gym session in. Most of the times I get a gym session in. And then I'll go to a show. And like that's how it is. Like I'll do like 3-4 shows maybe in a week. Sometimes I'll do 2, maybe 1. But it's been consistent since November.
Since you started.
Like every week there's been a show. I think there's 1 week maybe where I haven't done anything. And that week was like, I was still going gym and I was still doing all of the stuff that I do. So the day's always been packed. But when I can go and perform after, it's like I've lived out my entire day. Like I have not wasted anything in it. And then I've rounded off on my day with doing something I love, in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's been great. It's been constant, and I just hope it just keeps going this way.
I was saying to Lionheart when he was here, and
he's dope. I'm yet to see him perform. I keep missing him.
Yeah,
man.
I haven't actually had the chance, but when he came here, we were like, same thing, having a conversation and needed to press record. And I said to him, so, you know, what does he think about the sudden popularity of spoken word? And he said to me, what do you mean sudden popularity? It's been around for a while.
Yeah.
And I said, but I feel like I'm noticing more people doing it. And he said, what you're probably noticing is how it's, I'm paraphrasing, how it's more embracing and people aren't necessarily choosing it as their main thing, but it's given them an outlet.
That's what I realised with spoken word. It is, like, from what I've experienced, and I can only speak from that standpoint, yeah, it's less egos. It's like, man, it's so embracing. It's like the people are just like, they're so nice and they're so like open to hearing what you have to say. Do you know what I mean? With all the other mediums like rapping and doing grime or whatever, it's like, alright, cool, are you good? Or are you, do you know what I mean? With spoken word, you come in, you may be at a certain ability or level, and then people will watch you evolve and grow, and then you will evolve and grow, and they'll help you evolve and grow in these other like platforms of expressing yourself. It's deep, man. It's ruthless. Like, if you ain't ready, you get eaten. Like, you will get eaten. You don't go to a grime set and then, like, do you know what I mean? You can't be timid. You can't read off your phone. You can't.
I was about to ask you about reading off your phone, because that's something now that is seen
with poetry. Like, it's calm to do that. For some people don't like that, but it's okay, because as long as you're expressing yourself, that's what it's about. As long as you're expressing yourself, it's fine. It's like, that's not really a problem in it, if that's a part of your performance, reading from a book or reading from a phone. Personally, I don't like doing it. I've done it once at Chocolate Poetry Club and once at Poetic Unity, and I'm not on doing that again. But that was only because it was that one that I sent you.
Right.
Yeah, so
because it was new.
Yeah, it was new as well, and I hadn't memorized it. Like, I've written and recorded that and memorized that in the past. I'd say a month and a half, almost 2 months. Yeah. So this is really quick. Usually I get a piece, like maybe, I'll be writing backed up pieces and I'll be memorizing in a minute, and then I'll perform them when they're fresh, because I like to do I like to feel it. So my hands move, they go wherever they go in it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I like to, I call it air bending. I like to bend the air in it. Okay. That's part of my performance. Right,
yes.
Yeah.
That's
so
when
I move based on, like, I don't know. Samuel King told me this. He's another poet, and he was like, "Oh yeah, when you perform, I see what you're saying in it." And there's some people that can see what I'm saying. Like, I say it, but they can see it the way that I say it. It's weird.
Because of how you're performing.
Yeah, because of how I'm performing. If I just stay still and I just did that, you'll hear my words in it. But if you can look and hear at the same time, it creates a different dynamic.
Because I did notice that in one of the pieces that I saw on YouTube.
Yeah.
You were outside. It was late.
Yeah.
Near.
Oh yeah. Brain damage. Yeah. Brain damage. Yeah.
And I saw you doing that.
Yeah.
You were moving in that way.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I've just always moved like that. I don't know what it is, but it just works. It is what it is.
So now that you're just basically in the flow.
Yeah.
You're just going with it. But do you feel like you have any milestones or anything that you're kind of setting yourself?
As I go along, I meet people and I see people doing amazing things that I'm like, right, yeah, I want to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, like, eventually I would love to write a book. Do you know what I mean? Am I a writer? I would never say I'm a writer or whatever, but I would like to write a book. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I've, like, as a child, I've always wanted to write a book. Anyway, like, English was my favourite language lesson in school. Right. Yeah, because obviously I don't come from this country. I came here when I was like around 5, 6.
Born where?
Angola.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I came here, English became, like, obviously because I had to learn English and I had to communicate with people. So this has always been a theme throughout my life, is understanding. And it's just like, I look at understanding and I'm like, rah, do you know, like, war only exists because of misunderstanding? Mm-hmm. Like, do you know what I mean? If people understood each other, if they did their best to understand, then, like, we'd get along so much easier in it. But like I said, there's loads of variables that go into understanding in it. Do you know what I mean? So since I was young, that's just been my thing. Like, I observe, I try to communicate as well as I can, try to understand. So since I was young, I was like, oh, rah, like, I used to get made fun of because I couldn't speak English. Do you know what I mean? So I took time. I even pretended to be sick one time. I went to off license and I just used to watch people, observe speech patterns, where they would speak from, like hand gestures, the different accents and stuff like that. And even through that, I learned how to do accents as well. From tiny, I learned all of these things and I picked up all of these techniques without even knowing I was doing it, until I got older and I broke it down and I was like, oh, okay, I can do this because of this.
That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So so I'd like to write a book. I'd like to obviously release this EP, which is gonna happen. I'm gonna make it happen. Like to do more visual stuff. I'd just like to spread my message to a broader audience. Anyone who's willing to hear, anyone who I can help. Obviously, I want to work with my community. It's a lot of stuff that I want to do, but I can't like put it all onto a list right now.
No,
because I'm still figuring out what I want to do with it as well.
Which is beautiful in its own way, because you just get to kind of go with the experience.
Yeah.
A lot of the content is about your struggle. So do you feel like your audience are people who just relate, who are going through it themselves, or?
I don't know. I think
because I suppose it depends on the kind of feedback you're getting as well.
I think with a lot of things it's mad subjective, innit? Because like I've had like older women who in my mind would have nothing to relate to what I talk about. Like I did this I've got this one called Wordsmiths. Yeah. And for me, Wordsmiths is like, it's an homage to writers, innit? It's like, this is what we do in it. Do you know what I mean? We write and we express, and we are the timekeepers, third eye seers, innit? It's just what we encompass in it. So I was inspired by a lot of artists, and I wrote that, and I just thought like that was really barsy for me, innit? Like I was just writing bars of just how do I express what we are without saying we're just like really good writers, but how do I go further? So that's where when I wrote that, and I just thought that's what it was, and people who write will be able to relate. Put a little bit of the aspect of, you know what I mean, some people write to vent their feelings, and you know what I mean, it helps with mental health a lot. Do you know what I mean? It helped me, so I definitely helped people I know, so I know it's going to be relatable in that aspect. But one lady came up to me after one show one time, and she was like, I was in tears. In tears. That's not a type of, I wasn't trying to pull on your heartstrings, do you know what I mean? Like I wasn't trying to do that, innit? And who she was as a person, I did like, it made no sense why she was feeling like that to me, innit? Do you know what I mean? But she was like, it proper touched me, like everything that you were saying, and I was just like, wow. Okay, so do you know what I mean? I don't feel like I have an audience. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like whoever gets it, whatever people take from it, it's fine, innit? I feel like it's subjective, innit? Like me, personally, like I try my best, to live life. Like I look at it like, okay, so there's like levels of perception that people look at life, and it's like you start at a human level, that's base, innit? You should always look at life through here. But then we go race, sex, what else is there? Finances, whatever. Well, however you however you look at people, innit? So I just try to look at, I'm just a human being, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, so that's where I view life from, innit? So
I love that.
I don't really like, I'm trying to appeal to this person, I'm trying to appeal to that person. If the energy is calm, then it's calm.
I love that.
That's it.
So I love that you said that you just see things from a human level. Yeah. And then unfortunately we get all of these other layers.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, obviously sometimes you move, you get bought into it, like, do you know what I mean? You can get drawn out like all the time, do you know what I mean? Someone could pose a question that takes you from here to there, or someone could say something that forces you to move, like, do you know what I mean? Like the whole, obviously I'm like mixed race, innit? So the whole like racial thing, it's like,
go on.
My mum's black, innit? So I've grown up in a black family. For the longest, I looked at myself as a black male, innit? Because that's all I know, But like growing up, like I'm really like, I'm part black, but I'm also part like, I don't know what Portuguese people are, white, Hispanic. I don't know. There's it's been diluted through history, but I am mixture of two races. I'm not just. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I obviously relate to Black Lives Matter. I obviously relate to. Do you know what I mean? But it's such a touchy subject.
It is very touchy. How do you navigate it? Because it is such a touchy subject. It does come up often in conversations I have with people.
The same. I navigate it openly, innit? Like like racism does exist, so you know what I mean, I don't ever run away from it, I acknowledge it, do you know what I'm saying? But I don't ever let that narrative control the way that I'm gonna live my life. Not all white people are like white devils and do you know what I'm saying? You can't paint everyone with the same brush. Do you know what I'm saying? So I just navigate openly, same way that I navigate feminism. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I accept feminism. Do you know what I mean? You know when women say, "Oh, men are trash." Do you know what I'm saying? I understand that they're saying not all men are trash. Do you know what I'm saying? They're saying some men are trash. Do you know what I mean? So like I take that openly. Before I used to listen to it and go, "Oh, right, what men are trash?" Because when you hear it, you're just like, "Oh." As a man, do you know what I'm saying?
But as a woman, that gets to me. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I don't like it because it's like it's just not specific enough. It's not helping enough. It's just such a big blanket statement, and it's just the same with everything.
I've like, do you know what? Yeah, I've tried to speak like, because I like to speak about things, innit? Yeah. And I don't like. Don't get offended. Don't get like people get mad, yo.
They do.
People get so upset and they don't want to just openly like. I'm not allowed to ask a question. Like, say I ask a question based off of, because if you don't know something, it's called ignorance, right? Yeah. Like just because you don't know something, that's what it's called. It's ignorance. So I understand I'm ignorant to a lot of things, yeah. But I ask questions because I want to learn, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're not willing to teach me properly and you like get too emotional about it, then like. What's the end goal? What's the outcome?
Point?
Like, what is the point? Do you know what I mean?
It's about having a conversation.
Yeah, so what I've done now is just like, okay, I just stay quiet on the topic and I just hear people, like females, about how they feel about this point. And I've heard so many different things and I realised that can I call it a derogatory term? I don't know.
Go on.
Do you know what I mean? Can I call it that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it is like sort of another derogatory
it is.
term. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is, but no, because like your suffering isn't equal to ours, and it's just like a game sort of thing.
But then I think we understand more, as you said, if we just bring everything back to human level.
Yeah.
So then maybe as an example, let's just say that woman.
People are trash. There are trash people
there
that
are
exist.
trash people, and because of their gender or their conditioning, they're gonna act out in a certain way because that's how they think a guy should or a girl should behave.
Exactly.
So that's what
It's not because I was born a man, I'm predisposed. Nah, it's always, like I said, variables. The conditioning is the variable, do you know what I mean? Along with all other variables that would make a person trash. And even a person being trash doesn't mean that is their end all be all, their final, do you know what I mean? And then you can go even deeper and say that thing that happened to me was trash. That experience was trash. Because your experience with every other person, like for example, you don't like that person and then the person you know might like that person, and then that's literally just it. You've had two different experiences amongst three people, and it's like all of the experiences are fine. Do you know what I mean? But then it's like, oh no, I don't like this person, so I'm going to tell you of my experience to try to now shape your experience. Do you know what I mean? All of this stuff is mad, you know? It's mad.
Is it because, and I think that it comes back to, again, I was having this conversation about tribalism and how it's playing a really big part these days in identity politics, how people want to identify with a tribe of anything, so whether it's feminist or veganism or whatever, and it's just taking on an identity so that they feel comfortable, because the ambiguity and being in the grey area, which is what I'm all about, is like too uncertain and it doesn't feel defined enough for them to feel comfortable in. So now let me take this position where we believe all men are trash.
That's the best nail on the head, man. Like, because it like nothing is that. There are things that are certain, innit? Yeah, you'll live, you'll die. Do you know what I mean? There's certain things in life that are certain, yeah, cool. But we as human beings, we like to, do you know what I mean? Like, science isn't even absolute. Like, it will change. Like, it changes based on discoveries, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? So, I'm not saying don't define things. Yeah, of course, we need to understand things, but like.
But sometimes the definition then opens us up, should be questioned, and then that's what a great conversation's for. Or it's like a dynamic between two people, man, woman, 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 man, man, whatever, in a relationship, and they're coming at it from two different perspectives because their experience is different. So then let's now really listen to what that was for you, and then actually you would understand, like you say, a lot of wars are because of misunderstanding. So if you just understand that they weren't out to get you, unfortunately some people are trash and they are out to get you.
So I'm saying, but then with conversation you identify that quicker. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of people speak as well to to sort of change your mind rather than to listen to it's like listen to point to point to point. Like there's this guy, yeah, I don't know if what's his name? He does that whole segment on YouTube where he goes, change my mind. So he'll say, oh, I believe in gun control, change my mind.
Right.
Or I believe there's only 2 genders, change my mind.
Right.
And like it's interesting because people will read the signs in it, and obviously because everybody has their position on things, they'll sit down with him and they're not actually trying to talk about what the thing is about. Do you know what I mean? So let's say we start a conversation, yeah, and then like you believe a thing and then you tell me I believe in this thing. I'm like, okay, cool, well I believe in this thing and my thing is right because in this place over here they do it like this, so if you look at that, and then you it's like the conversation is here, and then we start going further and further and further away from the point, just proving ourselves to be right or whatever, and then we've actually not even come to any agreement on what we started talking about, and then it's just this, like, it becomes hella abstract, and then you're talking about, oh, because the Western world this and the Western world that. Well, yeah, I hear that, yeah, we can talk about that, but in relation to the point of, say, something being about where you live, it has nothing to do with the Western world, but your opinion rides on the fact that that happens somewhere else. So the fact that something different is happening where you are, you can now argue a point based on that. Nah, you have to be in your reality. Your reality. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, no, I'm going to convince you of the reality I believe, even though what you go through is your reality. And I know what you go through, but it's the Western world and da-da-da. Yeah, these points are right, but it's just you can't do that with everything. You can't be so militant about stuff. You have to be open to conversation. I'm not saying change your mind. You can leave the exact same, but at least think. Do you know what I mean? Be open to thinking.
I mean, I've been there, done that, where you are, for whatever reason, you're insecure, vulnerable, emotional, and you will, whether you know it or not, try to manipulate the other person into seeing things your way. Not necessarily being a manipulative person, but then even being manipulative. Are you doing it mindfully?
We learned that from our parents.
Yeah, but are you doing it mindfully, or are you doing it by accident because that's your pattern? Or that's your way to communicate.
We learn these techniques from our parents.
Exactly. Or that's how you think you need to feel secure, because we need to be on the same page.
We need, like, you can't, you're different, so it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, I question things so much in it. There's bare things I don't agree with. Like, do you know what I'm saying? But it's calm, it's different. Like, I understand, bro, it's variance everywhere. So, like, it's calm. Like, let me learn as much as I can about, because I'll get to a point where it's like, okay, cool, I can't understand past this point. And I have to understand that as well, because then I will just continue being like the bad version of ignorant, in it, where it's like I know something but I choose to ignore it because, do you know what I mean? The choice of ignoring something is even worse than not knowing something. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I know
you've chosen,
and I'm just going to ignore the point because it doesn't coincide with what I believe in. So do you know what I mean? Doesn't mean that you stop believing what you believe in. Those could be your morals, your foundation for the way you live your life, and that's fine, that's allowed. But then you can't, like, damn people or be upset with people or try to manipulate people into thinking how you think because you think that is the right way and the only way. Do you know what I mean?
And that equates to sticking to your side of the fence. And I think that's a problem, and that's why we have so many divisions. And I think, we can learn a lot from division. You can still have a fence up. But it's about ever so often looking over the fence.
Just like what's going on.
Because I mean, we can't be completely, I don't think any of us are completely open because we're still constructs of whatever we're constructs of.
Exactly.
But it's just understanding that those walls are malleable. We can break them down. They can be broken down.
Sick,
Did you?
Malleable. We as humans, we're malleable, innit? Like, that's how we're made.
But we forget.
We're made to change.
But we forget that.
Yeah, exactly.
We forget that hardship, we can adjust to it. Like, I keep trying to remind myself, I'm like, Serena, it's okay, you can adapt. You can adjust to this new struggle.
Exactly.
But you forget because, again, you're just conditioned in the comfort.
And that's what I mean about learning to process the processes. That's do you know what I mean? Because it's like, I'm aware, like, I'm constantly aware of that in the back of my head, innit? That, like, we're like that, innit? And I accept that. I'm not trying to run away from though. Do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to judge myself for anything either, innit? Do you know what I mean? Just take myself as I come, and then just develop myself based on the fact that I know that I'm a human as well, innit? Like, I'm nothing special. I'm nothing better than anyone else. Like, if I see someone, and then I go, oh, rah, like, what that person did wasn't good or whatever. For me to be able to identify that means it's a possibility to happen within myself. So, if, say, I don't like that person because that person's too loud, then I have the possibility to be loud as well. So I check myself. Am I also loud? Do you know what I mean? Because we're also hypocrites. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we have all these traits. I'm not saying I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not saying I'm all of the things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm a human being, bro. Like, as much as we can be unique, different, we like, the processes are pretty much only a finite amount of processes that we all go through and we can go through. Do you know what I mean? The monks go to the mountains and go through their process. And if we want to achieve what they're achieving, we would have to go through their process. Do you know what I mean? So
I totally get you on that whole thing about sometimes when you're judging or looking at someone and you're thinking, uh-oh. But then there's also that thing about, I feel like whenever I give advice or whenever you share some wisdom, you're always tested on it after. Do you find that?
Yeah.
It's like, as soon as you put that out there, it's like, oh,
I laugh.
shit.
I laugh. Like, when I clock it, I laugh. I'm like, okay, big man, okay.
It's
cool.
gonna come.
Yeah,
Exactly. So, like, I realized that we might be sounding a bit abstract. Like, do you have an example of a kind of struggle or something that you've had to learn or navigate through, that kind of best illustrates what we're talking about in terms of having to, maybe it's someone you've encountered, maybe it was a particular type of conversation, maybe it was something more internal.
Let me see. Okay, yeah. So, for example, without going too ham on my personal business.
Okay.
Like,
oh no, please get
okay.
Dish it.
Obviously, like, with my mum, see, my mum's a human being, innit? Do you know what I mean? But obviously, because she's my mum, I tend, like, that's my mum, that means something, innit? Yeah. So then she, like, becomes less human, but in the sense that, I mean, like, I've created, like, this thing because I've been raised to believe that she's this thing, innit? She's not a human. She is human, obviously, but I mean, like, human, actually, like, my mum's allowed to be in love. My mum's allowed to make mistakes. Do you know what I mean? But growing up as a kid, I had, like, a lot of resentment, which wasn't my mum's fault because I didn't necessarily like her partner. Obviously, they gave the world my brothers and sisters, which is amazing, innit? So, like, I'm older now, innit? So it's not even about older because of age, but older in the sense that I've learned through time, innit? And understanding through processing emotions, processing processes, and realizing, like, like, my mum was in love, or what she thought was love, and she has emotions as well, and she's allowed to feel, and she's a human woman before she's my mother. Do you know what I mean? So when that went off, like, it was a lot of weight off of my shoulders, innit? Like, to actively be upset with your mum for her being a person, it's mad, you know. Do you know what I mean? But when you're growing up, like, you don't have people to teach you how to, like, people just live life. Do you know what I mean? And you find these things out, innit? And obviously, being self-reflective, I had to, like, I don't like feeling negative emotions too often, innit? So I had to feel like I'm feeling too negative towards my mum. Like I was treating her, like, worse than she deserved, innit? Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't talk to her with the respect that she deserved because I felt like her not doing what I thought was right as her being my mum gave me the right to do that, but it never does. Do you know what I mean? She's always a human. Do you know what I mean? So in learning that, I now have a better relationship with my mum. I now can communicate with my mum better, like, because I understand that my mum's a human being, and I see my mum as a human being, and I don't put her on this thing that I've been taught growing up, that my mum's this special agent or whatever. I don't even know the word to give it, because
it's like kind of sanctify, or when you put someone up on a pedestal.
I understand how I saw her, but there was no word for how I saw her. And how, like, people see their parents like this, you know what I'm saying? And there's people that don't from early, because everybody goes through different experiences, but this was mine. So now I see her as a human person, and then after I see her as my mother, and she gets the respect of the fact that she gave me life, and I will never, like, disrespect her in the way she
Yeah,
speaks.
yeah,
She
yeah.
calls me, she asks for help, I'm there.
Yeah.
Before I was just like, oh, I don't want to speak to you, this and that.
Right.
Not treating her like a human being because I harbored that hate of the fact that you were with a person that I didn't like. So because I don't like this person, that I get to treat you like this. No, you're with this person because you want to be with this person.
Yeah.
This is your experience. And my experience wasn't the best with this person. So now I'm going to take it out on you. But nah, it's still separate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though it's intertwined, it's still
Yeah.
separate. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I've learned that. And now me and my mum are like cool. Like she came to one of my events that we did, like first time she came, she was like, oh, I'm so proud of you.
Wow.
This and that. Do you know what I mean? So I've, based on everything we've been talking about, like that's one of the ways that I've processed all of those things that I couldn't process before, that I didn't know because I was so focused on the emotion and the thing that was making me upset. But then when I realized why and broke down everything, I was able to overcome that.
Is there some kind of trigger? Because, you know, we can all identify more with our pain.
Yeah.
Well, it's easier sometimes
Yeah.
to identify, and that's what keeps you stuck.
Yeah.
So if I continue to blame, or if I continue to attribute that to that person,
it's mad.
What made you...
And then
Go on.
obviously this was obviously when I was like studying in spirituality and whatever, and then like just trying to understand myself. Yeah, when you realize like, okay, so you live your life from inside, innit, out, not outside in. Yeah, and that's it's mad. Yeah, because it sounds so simple, but when you're growing up, you don't get taught that, innit. You have to kind of figure that out, and for some people it's later. Do you know what I mean? People don't get to the finish line at the same time as others. That's why we have different paces in it. We've got different speeds. So for me, it took, I don't know, however long. And then I started to realize, like, I think it was like maybe 19, 20 when I started realizing that life comes from inside. And if I blame an outside force, then I give away the power I have to control my life and to make things different. Do you know what I'm saying? Because everything comes from inside. The way that I react, the way that I view things, like it's literally like, it's mad. Like the way that I see it, yeah, it's nuts. How can I explain it?
You've explained it really well though. I get that.
But it's like right now, yeah, we're sitting here together, we're speaking to each other, but really you're talking to yourself more than you're talking to me. You're talking to me and you're taking what I say or whatever, but you're talking to yourself first, innit? Because it's in your mind first, and then it comes out, and then it vocalizes, then you go through all these other processes. But it's always internal first,
Right,
innit? Do you know what I mean? So once I realized that,
the
I was
process
like, oh,
within the process.
yeah, I was like, oh, okay. So, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's always going to be like a second nature thing to go, oh, you made me upset. But then after some introspection, you start to realize, oh, okay, no, I reacted. I made myself upset. Do you know what I mean? Look at these people that like monks. I always go back to monks because it's hella peaceful. And it's just like, you look at these people and they'll stand there and let you just hit them or whatever and then not react. But it's not the act of them like not letting, there'll be ones that will hit you back, innit? Yeah. But it's just that whole control over oneself and one's actions, innit?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And not literally letting any blame go out and keeping it all inside. And then that's the best self-reflection because you grow the most and you have accountability. Do you know what I mean? And then it's no one else's fault and it's your life and you're taking care of yourself, innit? Do you know what I mean? And yeah, that's when I just started looking at things like that. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy. That thought isn't a continuous thought that I have like throughout my life. Do you know what I mean? I'll go outside right now and someone will piss me off and I'll get pissed off. Because I'm a human being, do you know what I mean? But then after I realise, I lost. Do you know what I mean? It's like a game. It's like a game. If I just smiled at that and I was just like, oh, this guy was just, can I swear?
Yeah, of course.
If this guy's like driving bus, calls me a wanker, starts swearing at me, says whatever, yeah, and then I just look at him and I'm just like, oh, he's upset in his own life. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But then if I take it personally, I've lost. He's brought me into the pit with him, and then we're just both there. No,
I get the same
you know
thing
I mean?
where, you know, when people, when someone does something, like maybe it's someone who's walked in front of you, who's cut you off or something, and you do that thing. We just nod your head, right?
Yeah.
And you feel so righteous in it. Like, I'm not going to say it out loud, but I want people to acknowledge. Because I've done that. And I do that sometimes, like when I'm doing the school run or something and some other parent or whatever is like in the way and I'm like, don't you know I've got to like get to work? Don't you know like I've got to do? And then when I see other people and I'm like, oh oh, when I see them do it, and I'm like, I know exactly what you're doing. And the thing is, it's not just an internal thing. It's like taking a position, but it feels like it sends ripples out, like that aren't that toxic.
Yeah.
And it's like, what have I just done? I know that person is not being mindful enough. But there's times when I'm doing exactly the same thing. I don't know. I mean, I haven't processed that much, but it's something that I spot in terms of behavior that I catch myself as soon as I've done it, and I'm like, oh man, I've just done that. It's almost like the equivalent of being a coward. It feels cowardly.
Very cowardly.
It feels cowardly. It feels like a cop out.
Yeah. I understand. It does.
But it's hard work to.
It does. I do it as well.
But
you know what I mean? I'm human too. Yeah. Yes.
But it is hard work to spot your behaviour, to be aware, more cognizant of like how we are reacting. I think the reaction tells us more than anything else.
To be like, I don't think it's about controlling the reaction as well.
No,
I think it's like about processing the reaction, understanding, okay, and then moving on, because you can't go back and change
no
things.
so it's understanding.
Yeah, it's just understanding. Because once you understand, then you become aware of it. Consciousness. Yeah, do you know what I mean? You become aware of it, then you could go forward being aware of it. Do you know what I mean? And then if your attention shifts from it, then that's alright too, because that will happen, because you can't constantly be aware of things, innit? You can't be perfect, innit? As much as people, there's people out there that are perfect. I'm not perfect, innit? Do you know what I mean? But I try my best. It's like the reggae artist, what's his name? Is his name Conscience? No, it's not Conscience. The young one. I forget his name.
The
reggae artist.
I know. I think I know who you're talking about.
He's very young.
Yeah, he is.
I hate forgetting names.
Oh no, is it the guy who done the song Chronics?
Yeah. Chronics. That's it. I think it was on Hot 97 or something like that. Yeah, and they were chatting to him or whatever, and they were asking him about being Rasta and whatever, and he was like, "Yeah, man. Like it's not easy. Like obviously I'm peaceful. I'm like, but every day you wake up, you have to be Rasta all over again. Do you know what I mean? It's like every day you wake up, it's not a given. Like every day is a new day where you have to try. Do you know what I mean? Just because you say, oh, I'm Muslim, I'm Christian, I'm Rasta, I'm da da da, and like you said, you find comfort in these titles. Yeah. So then you think, so what? Trump is the president. What does that mean? He still does mad things. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you're not trying, then what's the point? It's not about what you're called. It's not about how people see you or whatever. If you yourself, you're not waking up every day and understanding that you have to try every day. Like it's a constant trying. Yes. And that's why life is fun. Because it's a constant trying. And when you stop trying, then that's when you get these negative feelings. And then that's where, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's but if you constantly try, you're going to fluctuate how you're supposed to. But if you don't try, you're going to go backwards and go down, and you're going to feel negative energies, and you're not going to be able to, and to get out of that, it's hard, it's difficult. You put yourself back. But if you're always trying, you don't go that deep. Sometimes you may fall back, but it'll be all right. You like just a little push, and then you get back in front. Do you know what I mean? But it's just trying every day, isn't it?
I love that, and it's such a great thing to end on, because especially when you're creative and you're going through whatever you're going through in terms of like whether it's a book you're writing or a song or something, you go through these fluctuations and it can feel really disheartening, especially when you're on your own. But this would give anyone so much I don't know, solace, or just reassure them that it's supposed to fluctuate.
You can't just be flat line. You have to have variance. You have to have a difference for you to not compare, but to understand what this one is. You should have gone through this one to know that this is here and this is here, and that's that's the difference.
And that's why you say you love the darkness.
The darkness is calm because from the darkness like you see the light better. If you're in light and then you see more light, it's blinding. Do you know what I mean? But if you're in the darkness and the light comes, then it's like, do you know what I'm saying? I'd rather come out and see the light rather than be blinded. Do you know what I mean?
Perfect way to end this. And we came back to what we were originally talking about. Remind us again of your name and how everyone can find you.
My name is Broken Pen. You can find me mainly on Instagram. Not gonna lie, I'm really active on Instagram. Trying to get the YouTube popping. I need to get my URL. So follow my YouTube on YouTube. And follow my YouTube on YouTube. And obviously, once I get 100 subscribers, then I can get my link, and then it's easier to put out content and whatnot. But for right now, Broken Pen _ on Instagram. SoundCloud Broken Pen 1 to listen to some of my old music.
Yeah.
I should be releasing stuff on all of the Spotify platforms or whatever.
Yeah.
Once my EP is done. I got Twitter. I need to get more active on Twitter. I'm not really active.
We
on
need to
Twitter.
do so much, right?
Yeah, do you know what
But
I mean?
I will supply all the links. Thank you so much for coming through.
Love.
Really appreciate it. We
Love.
have to do it again. Would love for
Yeah.
you to come back and continue talking.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Awesome.
love.